Hello, dear executives. I'm continuing the series of discussion about human systems, and today we'll be talking about humans' capacity in complex systems, early pattern recognition, and systems coherence. How certain individuals help systems detect instability before it becomes visible. As human systems grow in scale and complexity, something important begins to happen. The human systems becomes harder to read. Signals become weaker, more distributed, and more ambiguous. And even highly trained experts working within their domains may no longer see where the real problem is forming, because the issue is no longer local, it is systemic. And system at that level cannot be understood only through structure, reporting, or formal logic. They need to be read as a whole. This is where a particular type of capability becomes critical. Some individuals are able to sense emerging patterns earlier, detect weak signals, and recognize loss of coherence before it becomes visible. They do not simply analyze the system, they feel its condition and stabilize it. In this work, we refer to them as architects and stabilizers of human systems. Framing the topic. This is not a mystical phenomenon. It's not a single scientific discovery. It appears across multiple research fields. It describes a real, observable capability present in some individuals to perceive and interpret system conditions earlier than others. An observable capability that shows up earlier than formal visibility. Professional translation. This capability can be described as early pattern recognition, sensitivity to weak signals, reading the gap between formal and lived systems, detecting emerging distortion early, recognizing loss of coherence. It is rare but consistently observed. A practical language for something that is often noticed before it is named. Why this matters? Large systems generate ambiguity, signals are weak and delayed. Misalignment accumulates gradually before becoming visible. Without early detection, intervention becomes too late. Weak signals rarely look urgent until they become costly. Kurt Lewin, Fields Theory. Behavior depends on person and environment. Groups function as dynamic fields, not as collection of individuals. Small shifts in conditions can change group behavior. Some individuals read these dynamics earlier. Correlates. Small condition shifts change group behavior. How this was studied. Context. 1930s, 1940s United States institutions, MIT and University of Iowa. Groups. Small groups from 10 to 50 people. Setting. Laboratory and field experiments. Focus. Leadership styles, behavioral change. Observation. Behavior shifts at group level. Study lens. Contexts, institutions, groups. Tavistock. Group dynamics. Groups operate on two levels. First, formal task level. Second, informal, unconscious dynamics. Behavior often follows the second, not the first, especially under uncertainty. Formal task and informal dynamics move at the same time. How this was studied. Context. UK. From 1940s to 1970s. 30 years. Institution. Tavistock Institute. Domains. Military, hospitals, industry. Groups. From 10 to over 100 participants. Method. Observed under real conditions. Focus. Behavior under pressure. Study lens, context, institution, domains. Chris Argyris, system and consistency. Organizations state how they operate, but behave differently in practice. A gap exists between declared logic and actual behavior. Most do not see this clearly, some detect it early. The stated system and the lived system are often not the same. And to add here, I know it from my real experience in my professional life. Carl Wake, sense making. People construct meaning from incomplete information. Signals are weak and ambiguous. Some individuals interpret earlier and distinguish signal from noise. They recognize risk before clarity emerges. Meaning is built before certainty exists. Gary Klein, expert decision making. Experts do not compare options, they recognize patterns. They match situations to experience. They act before full information. Some see what is forming before others do. Recognition can precede analysis. Peter Senge, systems thinking. Most people see events, some see patterns and interdependencies. They understand systems structure. They detect where stability weakens before breakdown becomes visible. Events are visible, structure is quieter. Synthesis. Across these research lines, some individuals can detect patterns earlier, sense weak signals, read system tension, recognize misalignment, anticipate instability. This is consistently observed. What this enables in systems? Earlier detection of risk, faster understanding of situation, reduced interpretive delay, clearer decision making, stabilization before failure. Earlier reading leads to earlier stabilization and saving costs. What these individuals actually do? They do not add activity. They clarify what is happening. They reduce noise. They stabilize interpretation. They make hidden dynamics visible. Their value is not volume, it is interpretive clarity. Final insight. This is not a mystical effect. It is rare human capability to recognize loss of system coherence before it becomes formally visible. Some individuals make the system visible to itself. Now we will be talking about these people, these individuals. How to identify these people? It's very important to understand for those who want to stabilize the system, especially complex and large systems. Now we move into something powerful and rare. First, what not to do. Do not rely on CV, on seniority, on IQ tests, standard competency frameworks, on certifications. These do not detect this capability because it's natural. What you're actually looking for, you're looking for people who notice inconsistencies early, think and ask uncomfortable but precise questions, see patterns across domains, detect misalignment before it is named, are not easily distracted by surface activity. They remain calm in ambiguity. They reduce noise instead of adding to it. Practical ways to identify them. First, pattern recognition interview. It's a very strong tool. Give them a messy situation, incomplete data, conflicting signals, unclear ownership. Ask, What do you think is happening here? And watch. Do they jump into conclusions or they think first? Or they structure ambiguity? Do they see patterns across signals? Do they identify what is missing? Weak signal test, a second part of recognizing these people. Give them several small, disconnected observations. Ask, what might this indicate? Strong candidates, they connect signals, they detect emerging patterns. Do not dismiss early. Third, gap detection tests are Gary's style. Give them formal dis- description of systems. Behavioral observations. Ask, where do you see inconsistency? Look for the way of their thinking and ability to see exposed versus real system. Real-time observation. Put them in complex meeting, unclear situation. Watch where their attention goes, what they notice, what they say, and what they don't. Fifth, listening test. It is underrated, but it's very important. Tell a long, slightly inconsistent story. Ask, what stood out to you? A strong signal. They detect subtle contradictions, not just main narrative. Behavioral indicators. That is very important. They often speak less, but more precisely into the heart of the problem. Notice things before others do or while others ignore it. Ask questions that shift the room. Feel different in meetings. Are sometimes misunderstood early. And one key insight, these people are often not the most visible performers because they reduce noise, they do not increase activity. Why they matter in crisis and competition fields? In stable systems, standard management works. In complex, large, unstable systems, early detection is an advantage. These people are forming advantage. See risk earlier, reduce wrong decisions, stabilize faster, prevent escalation, improve strategic positioning. So, in complex human systems, advantage does not come only from better execution. It comes from seeing earlier and stabilizing before others even recognize what instability and where instability has begun. And if you like this series, you may subscribe and push the notification bell. See you on our next discussions. Thank you for listening and watching this presentation. Enjoy your day.